Hi to everyone, this is Davide Mancini from Sound Machines Italy. Today at Superbooth we are presenting some new product, and probably you already saw our big collaboration with IK Multimedia for the new Uno synth that we contributed to design all the electronic and firmware part. But in our booth we have the new Arches that is currently under Kickstarter campaign that is, this is successfully reaching 80% in few days. You have time until the end of May to have this at a competitive pricing of $750 instead of the $899 that it would be after the summer. Okay, shipment is expected at the end of July. Then we have a new aesthetic revision of the Modular 114 all-in-one modular synthesizer that is already on the market. We just changed the aesthetic to match our other new product. And the last one is the Ds1 Drum Station. That is actually a bundle with a metal enclosure and an internal power supply on a single panel of our most successful products that are the LS1 light strip, the Ds1 drum computer trigger sequencer, and the SD1 simple drum, 6 voices drum sound bank. We can start with
tell us a bit about the Arches.
The Arches is the big news in our lineup. It's actually what we call the universal tactile interface. It's actually much more than this because it can be really the center of your performance needs in terms of interfacing to many different machines with different standards and different connectivity. The final version that we will put in the market will have, apart from 32 CV outputs, and that's a lot of stuff to control, it will have the opportunity to put out signals also over MIDI and over MIDI wirelessly on the Bluetooth Low Energy link.
Will the MIDI be on a 5-pin DIN cable?
It will be on the 5-pin DIN and also on the USB. So you will have whatever choice you need to interface. And the very nice thing is that you can do all at once, because you can, for example, choose to define 2 virtual keyboards. For example, this one, and this one, to interface with, like in this case, with a Eurorack stuff, so using 1 volt per octave output. And you can use this other interface, this other keyboard, to interface to, for example, a MIDI synth maybe that is running on your iPad, so wirelessly, or to define as a CV with another standard, like a Buchla 1.2 volt per octave, or even linear stuff for the old Japanese synthesizer. The surface of the Arches is composed of several light strips. It's a product that we already had presented some years ago, and it was one of our most successful technologies. You have 2 thumb pads that are sensible also to the pressure, and you have a row of pressure-sensitive buttons. In this case, we just defined some notes that are played by the modular. Also, this one is a 1 voice and this is another voice. And for this one, we just modifying the delay time of the internal unit. So it's a very simple setup in this case, just for testing the Arches. Apart from using all the module as a standalone and having the possibility with this small map to define, as you can see, the OLED display shows the configuration of each of those. The first one is the note, then the trigger. For example, if you want to change the note of this, the note is this, you can change the MIDI note and then select. If you want to change that, and also the Midi channel and the standard that you refer to. For what regards the gate output, you can select the type positive, negative, or pulse, and also the output, in this case the 11th output, and the voltage. You can choose between 5 and 10 volts. Once you have configured everything, you can save it into a preset or a performance. I don't know what we will call this. And you can recall it really simply by selecting the number from load and store with the button, or navigating with these two buttons here, back and forth through your preset. At the beginning, we will supply this with 32 presets that will be, I think, sufficient to cover 90% of the performance needs. But you can fine-tune wherever you want, starting from notes, Midi channels. Another thing, on the Midi channel, you can output control changes with any one of those, and so you can control also your max MSP patches on the PC or your parameter on an hardware MIDI synthesizer. Yeah, all of this, it will be available more or less at the end of July. We will be shipment for the backers of the Kickstarter campaign, and then in August it will go fully on the market via our retailers. Okay. This is another new product. As I told you, is a bundle of our pre-existing product, and is packaged to be a great opportunity to start with a modular drumming rig without having the need to own Euro case, power supplies, and all the complications that arise for someone that starts in that moment. You can see that we have four light strips that can control the CV outputs of the drum station, and then we have the Ds1 Drum, simple drum that can set
so
up
that
to
plays
6.
samples, right?
That plays sample. We have some sample some normal and compressed, and also we have several different snares. You can save the volume of each channel, and also there is a reverb that can be controlled via CV. The small drum has accent CV input that can change many parameters. It can scan the instrument of some channels, can do the humanizing of the velocity of some of the hi-hats, and you can also enter advanced mode where you are actually using the last two outputs as a very simple mono synth with 16 sounds to choose from. So it's like a small groove box. Obviously, the interesting fact about the drum computer is that it has 4 CV input that can change on the fly all the parameters that you need. In this case, we have the hi-hat with this sound, with this percussive sound. You can automate. You can see that it's changing in real time the steps on the second, and we can do the rolls. The second channel is set to do the rolls on the second sequence, and you can also automate this. You can change the sound to have more. Then you have many other stuff. Starting from example, you can change the shuffle on the fly. For example, you can break the loop in two, like this one. You can see that only the first 8 parts, or a fourth of the loop is reproduced. So it has a lot of stuff. You can mute individual tracks. You can change the trigger length. So if you have modules that respond to the trigger length, you can do this quite easily. And you have 4 of those.
So is it available now?
This will be available from June, so we are just building the black cases right now, and it will be available in June.
What will be the price on that?
The cost of this will be 850, and it's almost 200 euro less than buying the module separately. Not to talk about the case, etc. The case includes a small Eurorack power supply, and as all of our cases is VESA mountable. It's standard mounting to use this monitor stands. And so just one word about the new aesthetic form of our synthesizer. This is the good old modular 114. It's all-in-one. It's not a semi-modular. It's just 22 modules put together with just a button that can implement a standard monosynth signal path. But when the button is not active, all the modules, and we are talking about 114 is the actual number of jacks on the panel, so it's a lot of stuff to play with. You get also some non-trivial stuff like a trigger control, slider controller, a quantizer, and a pretty complete MIDI implementation that can also do attenuation, VSCC, and slew controller. So, yeah, this is our lineup for this year, and all of these products are going to the market from 1 month to 2, so they are almost ready for marketing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.